Today we're heading to Modern to play some Insect Tribal. Seriously, Insect Tribal. In Modern. Insects. That's it. That's the intro. Insect Tribal. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Seth from Olive, and it's time for another edition of Much Ado About Nothing. So the other day, I was looking through Moto results, trying to find a sweet, spicy, maybe Brothers War influenced Modern deck to mess around with, and as soon as I saw this list, I knew we had to play it, because this is Modern Insect Tribal. Like, seriously, it is Insect Tribal. Not even like exaggerating with that name. That is literally what this deck's trying to do. So let's talk about this absurd idea of Modern Insect Tribal. Jump into a Modern League and see if the Insect Tribe is the new hotness in Modern. So first off, we have our insects. Honestly, most of them are pretty underpowered, but we do have some synergies with them. Haywire Mite, Hex Parasite, Brain Maggot for discard, Cruel Harpooner can be removal for flyers, Realm Walker for card advantage. If we're gonna play these bad creatures, we need some good payoff. So what payoffs do we have for playing a bunch of underpowered insects? Well, first, we have All-Star Blex Vexing Pest, which is just a 3-mana lord for insects, also pests and bats and snakes and spiders. We don't have any of those, but it comes down and pumps our team. It's got a backside, but we're probably never going to use it. And then Grist the Hunger Tide, technically the best insect in Magic. It's an insect if it's not on the battlefield. However, on the battlefield, it's really good in an insect deck because it's +1, which makes insect and mills a card. If we mill an insect, it triggers again. So because we're playing all these insects, there's a decent chance that we hit 2 cards with Grist, maybe 3 cards, and get 3 tokens and 3 loyalty, and that allows us to get a lot of loyalty on Grist and also defend it and attack with a bunch of insects, and that allows us to tick down Grist to blow up stuff, maybe ultimate Grist to win the game. So those are some of our big payoffs. The other weird synergistic insect payoff part of this deck is Urza's Saga, one of the most busted cards in Modern, but it combos with one of our insects, Hex Parasite, because Hex Parasite can remove counters from it. So if we get them both on the battlefield, we can keep Urza's Saga going forever. We can tutor up something every single turn. We can make a construct every single turn by removing the counters with Hex Parasite. We also have Chalice of the Void to slow our opponent down. We have Ether Vial to cheat our stuff into play, 1 Spring Leaf Drum. The other payoff is in our mana base. Outside of Urza's Saga, we got Swarm Yard, which just taps to regenerate an insect. And in some matchups, this is really good. Our little insects can block huge constructs, massive creatures on the ground, Cavern to fight through counters, a bunch of mana fixing lands. In the sideboard, Orvar, technically an insect, good against Liliana. If we discard it, we get a copy of a permanent. Endurance looks like an insect, but technically it's not, but it's good graveyard hate. A bunch of removal graveyard hate, some hate cards, Curse Totem, not sure what that's hating on, but maybe we'll figure it out as we go along. So that is Insect Tribal. Like, straight up, seriously, Insect Tribal for Modern. That is our Much Ado deck for this week. So let's jump into a Modern League and see, is there any chance this unruly pile of insects can ruin our opponent's picnics? That's what we're going to find out. Thanks for watching, everyone. Enjoy the league, and I'll be back for a bit in the wrap-up. Need some Brothers War cards? And snag them from our awesome sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/MTG Goldfish. Much Ado About Nothing time. We are playing some Insect Tribal. Seriously, Insect Tribal in Modern this week. I don't think we can keep the 1 Swarm Yard hand, unfortunately. All right, I mean, we'll keep this and just put a Ether Vial to the bottom. Please don't thought seize us. All right, so we can violate some insects. Got them. Someone played this in a Magic Online challenge. It went 3-1. I still have no idea how. I assume it involves, we do have Urza's Saga and we have Hex Parasite. So I assume our easiest way of winning is probably that, or maybe you just play insects and then Blex and get them. But we gotta see. We gotta see if it's actually possible Insect Tribal can work, because that would be insane. About it. Griefs us. Well, there goes our insects. I mean, I guess we naturally play around Grief by having a handful of this. This is kind of like an extra against odds episode, I think. I do like Haywire Mite a lot, though. Opponent is befuddled by your insects. They have no idea what one to take. Goes with the Cruel Harpooner, and then, gonna do another Grief. Sure. Comes back into play. Thought seizes us again. Well, heading into turn 2, we will have 2 cards in hand. 2 insects in hand, actually. Gotta make sure we put it that way. Opponent. So I assume you take the Hex Parasite. I don't think this does anything against our opponent's deck. Well, it takes the Realm Walker. Okay. Can we beat a 4-3 with Menace? I'll take up the Ether Vial. Another Ether Vial. Well, okay. I guess we play that and pass it. We put it to the bottom. How does that always happen on Magic Online? I swear the card that you put to the bottom, I got to do math on this because I feel like we say this very often. But the card that you try to the bottom, it seems like you draw it the next turn in unlikely amount of the time. Or maybe it's all just our brains working in weird ways, but boy, it feels like it sometimes. I honestly don't know if we can beat a Grief. Can insects beat a 4/3 menace? Hits us. We can remove the counter from the Grief with the Hex Parasite. Aha. And there's also a Ragavan. Well, the insects are good at blocking Ragavan. I'll give them that. Well, we will put a Haywire Mite into play. A nice little 1/1. Take up. Brain Maggot. Aha! That's a good one, sort of. Boom. Grief us, will ya? Well, we have an insect version of that, except it dies and you get your card back. But it's basically the same. Insect Grief. Opponent going to Polluted Delta. Appears to have removal. That's a Blood Crypt. It's untapped. Opponent. Lightning Bolts the Brain Maggot. All right. Yeah, that is the problem with our Grief, is it doesn't actually, it's a Voidwalker. It doesn't actually last forever. Well, I guess past the turn. How do we possibly win from here? Grist and Urza's Saga are the two most powerful cards, but we just didn't happen to find an opponent. Going to Voidwalker. Watch this, though. Watch this insect synergy. Opponent goes attacking. We will Ether Vial. Boom. Hex Parasite. We will pay life. Much of it. Remove a counter from Grief. Got now it's just a 3/2. How do you like our insects now, Rakdos Scam? We do have to block this Ragavan, though. I think we're just dead. I'm not sure there's an insect. There's an insect that exists that saves us from this Modern Horizons 2-star. Found it. Marsh Flats. Passes. We're at 8. We can't block any of our opponent's things. Vial up to 3, I think. Grist would actually be good. Vial probably stay on 1. We don't have that many 2. We do have a 2. Okay, that's unfortunate. All right. Yeah. Well, okay, not the start we were looking for with insects. Ooh, Orvar? Technically an insect. If they scam it, then we get it back. Is Chalice of the Void even good? Probably not against scam. Dismember seems good. Cursed Totem. Yeah, that doesn't seem super impactful. Relic seems fine. That can deal with the reanimate my Grief plan. And then I guess just Endurance is like not technically an insect, but honorary insect. Oh, that's a whole playset of Blex. All right, let's put one Realm Walker to the bottom. Let's try it like that. Actually, a Straw's not bad. Although, if we get scammed, it's pretty bad. Grist and Urza Saga, I think, are our 2 best insects. Cavern, insect, of course. Ether Vial, please don't do your scam stuff. So if we can get a Vial to 3, we can cheat Grist into play. Bloodstained Mire, opponent. All right, not getting scammed yet is nice. That's a bit of good news. All right, take up the Vial. I feel like Brain Maggot just dies. Let's Vial. Play the Peatland past the turn. Next turn, we can cheat Brain Maggot into play at instant speed, which seems better. And this lets us leave up Dismember to fizzle a scam. We really need this Grist. Grist is the card, because Grist, with our deck being insects, it can actually make a lot of tokens with the +1. That is actually a somewhat legitimate pathway to winning this game, I think. Opponent, Swamp, and do the Voidwalker. Guess we take 1,000,000 to dismember that. Drawing a land would be sweet. Land to just cast Grist would also be sweet. Grist plus Brain Maggot this turn? Well, Vials going up. How about a land for Grist? Oh my goodness, we're killing ourselves rapidly. But we do get a Grist. And Grist is probably our best card. The best insect. Tick it up. Can we get a double hit? No. Well, at least we didn't draw another Ether Vial. I guess we do this now while your opponent's tapped out in case we take a removal spell. So often you want to do this draw step so you see one more card, but with our opponent probably having a bunch of removal, I think doing it now and just trying to snag like a boulder or something is probably worthwhile. I guess we take Fury. I mean, we're fully in the try to defend our Grist mode. Pass the turn. Would have been nice to hit an insect or 2 to get more loyalty on this. Losing it to Fury, we're suddenly in sad shape. Opponent, land. Okay, explosives on 1 to get rid of the Vials. Okay, we're in Ride Grist to victory mode. That is our game plan here. Losing the Vials is annoying because our mana beast is super painful, but opponent gonna crack the Bloodstained Mire. Blood Crypt down to 15. Terminates to get back the Fury. Passes. I mean, I guess we keep ticking up. 3 and 2 seems fine. If we draw 1, we can cast it. Drawing Hex Parasite to get the counter off this would be interesting. Realm Walker. If we Violent Realm Walker, yeah, let's Violent Realm Walker. This will let us know what's on top of our deck. On Insect, okay, play the Mite, take up Grist. Oh, we're going off. We're going off with the insects. Ooh, double hit, okay. And then Mite gets rid of the engineered explosives. We gain some life. Grist is up to 7. It's actually working. And then we'll play Mite off the top of our deck. Oh, they scooped it up. They scooped it up to insects. We got them. Okay, so, well, I think we're figuring out this deck. It's all about the Grix. That was actually, like, kind of impressive, though. Did we break it? I mean, I guess this is probably our best setup. I kind of like the Realm Walker, though. I mean, that went better because we didn't get scammed, essentially. Opponent did not have the start that they want. Maybe we go with the Realm Walker again. Maybe that's our best bet. Orvar is better against Liliana decks. I don't think they really are a Liliana deck. I mean, they might have a couple Lilianas, actually. Probably not. Usually, if you're playing the Grief build, you're not playing Lilianas. So odds of us actually getting to discard it seem pretty low because they're just not going to target it. Right like that. Can the insects keep the good times rolling? Wow, Hex Parasites, 4 days. Really good at having multiple Ether Vials. Can we keep this? This is not a good matchup to mulligan a bunch, but at the same time, how do we win without a Grist? I think we have to just mulligan. Oh no. Oh dear, this hand's horrible. Oh, we should have kept the first bad hand. Bottom. We got a Grist and a Realm Walker and not much else. Please, no griefing. I don't know how that first hand wins. 2 Ether Vials and 2 1/1s. Like, how does that possibly win? Oh dear. Yeah, this is what we were for. Well, GG. The bad news for our opponent is they will have to live with the fact that they got Insect in game 2. I don't know how they're going to sleep tonight. Opponent, yeah, doing exactly what their deck wants to do, which is double Thoughtseize with Grief and have a 4/3 on turn 1. Some good, clean magic happening here. We have a Realm Walker, also 2 lands. I mean, opponent also spent a lot of their cards, I guess. We really needed Grist. Land, okay, Blooming Marsh, go. This is where the insects live. Opponent, it's us, down to 16. Opponent passes. All right, more insect homeworlds. Cavern on Insect, go. Mulliganing to 5 against the scam deck is just it's so brutal if they have their draw and they had their draw. Opponent grieves us down to 12. At the same time, I think we just had to do it. Opponent cracks a Blipsmire, gets a land. If this is Liliana, I'm going to be salty because we could have brought in Orvar. Fable of the Mia Breaker. That's a good card. Brain Maggot. We are dying on a whole bunch of levels, so I think we just have to play Realm Walker. Odds of it living, not good, but it can block a goblin if it does. Dismember on top. That would have actually been good earlier. Untaps, gets to do some filtering. Discards a card. That means our opponent has cards that they want. Goes to combat. Attacks, makes a treasure. All right, well, we will block. Drop to 8. Opponent. Seasoned Pyromancer to draw some more cards. How do we get out of this? Can we get out of this? Opponent passes. Insect on top, please. Another Realm Walker. Yavimaya. Realm Walker part 2 on Insect. And I mean, this is painful, but yeah, I mean, kill the Grief. We don't really have a choice. All right, we got the wall of Realm Walkers. Biggest Insect. I mean, at the moment, we're not dead. We really need a Grist. Seems like we live and die by resolving a Grist. Grist in a deck full of insects, though, we saw that in game 2. Oh my goodness. Grist is a good card anyway, but when you take it up and there's a decent chance you're getting like 3-4 loyalty and 3 or 4 tokens, that's actually kind of absurd. So this might be our opponent setting up a Fury. All right, opponent's just gonna pass. We really need something good on top because Reflections copying Seasoned Pyromancer is bad. Oh, land. All right, that's not exactly what we wanted on top. Brain Maggot, take a peek. Yes, Reflections with Seasoned Pyromancer is a lot of value. Oh, goodness, they did have Fury and Engineered Explosives. Well, play the Blooming Marsh, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Yeah, I don't think we can beat this Reflections copying the Seasoned Pyromancer. Oh, Oh, that was not in our opponent's hand last turn. All right, terminate the draw for the turn. And then also Fury, and then our opponent can copy the Fury, and yes, we know there's a land on top. That is going to do it, since we know we're drawing a land here. Opponent kills our stuff. I mean, we actually just die right now to a hasty Fury, right? All right. Well, Game 2 was good. Game 2 was really good. We got to see the full power of the insects. Games 1 and 3, we don't talk about those. Much ado about nothing time. That's a Blex. We are trying to ruin our opponent's picnic this week with Insect Tribal. Can we keep this? Probably not. That's 5 lands. Ooh, all right. This I kind of like. That seems like it could work. We got Grist. Do we keep Chalice in the dark? Probably not. I mean, Hex Parasite Urza Saga is kind of a thing. Grist is kind of a thing. Sadly, we're going to put Chalice to the bottom. I mean, this is the ultimate insect hand. I would say this is the 6-card insect nut draw. Boom, Hex Parasite. Can you beat it? I mean, if our stuff lives and we live, Urza Saga Hex Parasite is a thing. And Grist is actually super good. Control A. Oh, all right. Ornithopter, sure. So hammer time, maybe? Opponent passes. We draw. Realm Walker. Well, let's Cavern on Insect. I think we just pass for now. I don't really want to play the Saga yet because I want to play a 3-drop next turn. So I think if we play Saga and Grist next turn, maybe that sets us up for Grist shenanigans and Saga shenanigans in the future. Temple Garden. What is happening? What is going on? Sea Chrome Ghost. These are weird colors. Oh, it's a Pure Steel. Okay. Well, now we might have to just Grist sack this Hex Parasite to kill Pure Steel. Urza Saga. How greedy is it to wait? It's pretty greedy. Oh, losing our Grist would be a bummer, but yeah, I think we have to Grist. And yeah, this feels bad, but sack the Hex Parasite. We gotta kill the Pure Steel. It's just so, like, if they play hammers or whatever, we just get wrecked. Hopefully our Grist lives. Pass the turn. Has their own Urza Saga. Oh, another Pure Steel Paladin. All right, that's less great. Passing. Come on, Grist. So we take up Urza Saga. We take up Grist, hope for like a triple hit or no hits. Play Swarm Yard, play Ether Vial, pass the turn. Let's see how bad this is. At least with Pure Steel, they have to equip Sorcery Speed, so we can potentially chump block compared to like Sigarda's Aid, and we can regenerate our insects. Another Ornithopter. So I think we just block with the insect, make a construct, passing, okay. Well, we don't even have to block with the insect, so we will just make a construct, take up the vial, a land. Okay, so 1, 2, make a construct, Haywire Mite, play a land, take up Grist. Oh, still not a double hit. We cannot get a double hit to save our lives. All right, pass the turn. Actually, can we attack? I guess we can get in with a construct, can't we? I guess we're the aggro. Opponent. It would have been so nice to double hit with a Grist. So opponent's going to be able to get a equipment on something, but we do have the Haywire Mite that can answer an equipment. So opponent makes construct, pretty big. Are we making a construct? We could have exiled the Urza Saga, but just letting it go and answering an equipment in the future is probably better. This Swarm Yard's gonna do some work. And we even have the Blex. I mean, this is kinda happening. All right, just float some mana. Is this hammer time? Is this like a really odd Bant build of hammer time? We still really need to kill this Pure Steel Paladin. All right, there's the hammer. Opponent gets to draw a card. They can equip it, but they need something else at this point. Nettle Cyst, okay. Oh boy, opponent's going off. So we're probably going to have to kill the Nettle Cyst with the Mite. The hammer we can kind of deal with because the creature loses flying. We got to have the Grist live, basically. We need the Grist to live to be able to kill this Pure Steel to have a shot. Opponent, Plains. Well, this is actually like kind of an interesting game. Oh god, Steel Shaper's Gift. Gets a Shadow Sphere. Oh, this is the worst. So now we lose our Grist, and that's real bad. If our opponent equips properly, there's just no way around it because they have 2 flyers. Huge construct. Yep, it looks like our opponent is going to equip properly. Oh, so now we need some sort of miraculous top deck. Oh, that was an unfortunate turn. Yeah, that's 2 evasive creatures. So I guess we kill the... but now we just don't have the removal. So we kill the shadow or exile the Shadow Sphere. This just means that Pure Steel lives, though, and gets to continue going off. We can't actually save our Grist. Oh, so close. Opponent passes. We take up our Ether Vial. Well, another Grist would be something. Hex Parasite, not great at the moment. 1, 2, 3, play a Realm Walker on Insect. Yeah, I guess we just gotta pass for now. We gotta be able to regenerate here. All right, pass the turn. Well, hopefully our opponent's out of action now. Giver of Runes. Spring Leaf Drum. I mean, as long as they don't have more equipment. Spring Leaf Drum, sure. As long as there's not more equipment, we're like sort of okay-ish. Okay adjacent. Opponent. Equips again to the same thing. Goes to combat. Attacks. Insect plus Swarmyard is good blocking. So block the 17/17. Regenerate. Boom. Swarmyard. Modern All-Star Swarmyard. Take 7. Opponent. Moves over the hammer and passes. Well, Vial's going up to 3 for Blex. We draw the Mite. Another Realm Walker on top. I think we're going aggro here. Play Hex Parasite. Haywire Mite. Go to combat. Do some attacking. Hopefully we can get a blowout with this Blex that our opponent is not going to expect. This is kind of the dream. Opponent does have 1 card in hand. If it's a removal spell, we get pretty blown out. Haywire Mite. Get rid of the Colossal Hammer. The sneakiest Blex. Oh, please don't have removal. Blex. Pump the insects. Oh, it worked. It worked. Opponent goes to 7. We wrath the board. We're not dead. Give her Runes down. Pure Steel down. Colossal Hammer down. Insect power. And we still have a block because of Swarmyard. And we're kind of presenting lethal now. Blex finally showing its worth. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that Blex got the Pure Steel and the Giver? At this point, I would like to win some matches with this deck, but it's funny enough to just wreck people with Blex and these horrible insects that even if we don't win, at least we've done some sweet things with this deck. They're speechless. They don't know what just happened to their board. You might say they are vexed. Oh, these horrible puns rank themselves. Opponent also has a Haywire Mite. Okay, it's a good card. That's a very good card. Opponent goes to combat. Opponent passing. We untap. Vial's gonna stay at 3. Grist would be nice because we still can't really quite win from here. So Vial's gonna stay. What's on top? Another Realm Walker. So if we swing out, opponent blocks. Do we just go for it? Opponent has 3 blockers. So they block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, it's so aggro, but it's not lethal because they can sack this to gain 2. So I think we do have to wait. Okay, so in that case, Realm Walker off the top on Insect. Yeah, we gotta wait 1 more turn. Hopefully, if we survive this turn and don't get blown out, we should be able to go wide enough to win next turn. Yeah, the Haywire Mite does change the math, just at 2 life. Opponent. Haywire Mite's so good. Passes. Well, we will Ether Vial. I mean, at this point, I think we gotta just go for it. Realm Walker on Insect. Actually, probably should have set it on like Pest or something, shouldn't we have? All right, Vial staying on 3. We know we're drawing a Vial for the turn. All right, so opponent's at 9. We swing out. Our opponent blocks. Let's say they kill Blex. They take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, I think we do it though. I mean, we gotta go for it. All right, we gotta go for it and hope that it works out. Yeah, swing with everything. Come on, insects. Hold. They need an instant speed removal spell, basically, and they can survive. They also have to be cautious of Hex Parasite getting big, which our opponent might not realize. It looks like they do not realize. So right now, this is lethal. And opponent scoops it up. Whoa, insects. It worked. Yes, vialing in a Blex actually let that work. So this shuts down Giver of Runes, but that's about it. Pithy Needle might be okay. Might be worth it. Wow, that was a good win. So Dismembers in Pithy Needle, I guess. Does Curse Totem do enough? So Curse Totem, it shuts down Stoneforge, Giver of Runes. Kind of wish it was a Stony Silence. Chalice is interesting. Although the thing with Chalice is like, we kind of need it to not be on 1. So it's a little awkward. We would probably go down Chalice, at least on the draw. Damping Sphere, no. Curse Totem. Maybe it's just Endurance. Yeah, let's just try it like that. Well, we got to see the Insect power that game somehow. We got our sideboard card, got a Vial. We'll try this. Cruel Harpooner, sneaky tech against Ornithopter. What do you got, opponent? What do you got? Sea Chrome Coast and Esper Sentinel. Blooming Marsh, and this is painful, but we have to play the turn 1 Ether Vial. Cannot pay the 1, which is a problem, but Ether Vial just, you can't not play it on turn 1. That's the whole point of Ether Vial. Hopefully that'll be the only card we give our opponent off that Esper Sentinel. Opponent. Well, now we might have to Pithing Needle the Saga, Giver of Runes. And Spring Leaf Drop. Opponent is going off. Still going off. All right, goes to combat. Gonna get in. Hit us for 1. Down to 19. This hand is fine, but it doesn't actually have any of our payoffs, which is worth noting. I'll take up the Vial. Brain Maggot. I mean, we probably just have to play Pithing Needle, name Urza Saga, right? Shutting down our Urza Sagas is awkward, but if our opponent makes constructs, what's the other option? Is like just let our opponent make the constructs and Brain Maggot? Maybe that's fine. We do have the Swarm Yard. This is where Haywire Mite would be so good. Like, how bad is it if we lose our Urza Sagas? That's the question. And what happens if our opponent plays like a Pure Steel? You know what? I think we actually do just... I think we got to do it. Pithing Needle the Urza Saga. Pay the 1. I don't think we can beat 2 constructs here, so name Urza Saga, pass the turn. The awkward part is this does mean we can't Urza Saga in the future, and Urza Saga is a big part of our game plan, but all right, Saga ticks up. Let's see what our opponent's follow-up is. Stoneforge Mystique. No way to free equip at the moment, though. Grabs Calder Complete. Well, we cannot let that resolve. Opponent goes to combat, gets in, hits us. Ooh, does not get in, hit us. All right, opponent passes. Take up the Ether Vial. Oh, there's Grist. Well, play the Swarm Yard. Brain Maggot. Get rid of the Cauldron Complete. Wow, that's a handful of scary things. Now take Cauldron Complete. Yeah, I think we just pass. Go to our opponent's draw step. We can Vial in another Brain Maggot. Brain Maggot, number 2. I mean, without a way to free equip, this isn't that scary. What do you got going on over there, opponent? Okay, Stoneforge going to put Nettle Cyst into play. Nettle Cyst plus Trample, I guess, is an issue. We're going to take Blacksmith Skill. Yeah, I guess that's going to be the issue. So they lose their Urza Saga, but with this Giver out, I assume they just get Shadow Sphere. Yeah, we need a Haywire Mite. That's what we need. Haywire Mite to get rid of the Nettle Cyst, and then we're like sort of stable-ish. Or the Trample. Like without Evasion, this is fine. With Evasion, that's where it gets sketchy. Opponent gets Pithing Needle. Are they going to name Vial? Okay, names Haywire Mite. Plains, Ginger Brew. So, I mean, I guess that's evasive as well. Don't we just kill this? What am I missing? Block and regenerate? Oh, all right, opponent just did not play around the Swarm Yard. Well, Vial going up to 3. We draw land, put Realm Walker into play. See what's on top of our deck. Realm Walker Grist is like kind of a combo. All right, name Insect, Cavern on top. So our opponent's hand is Colossal Hammer. Well, I mean, I think we just Grist and leave up Swarm Yard. We're like kind of safe, right? Safe-ish. Oh, play Grist. Take it up for an Insect, mill the Cavern. No double hit this time. Swarm Yard on top. All right, pass the turn. I mean, I feel like we're relatively safe because our opponent doesn't have any evasion right now. If they draw Trample or something, that's a problem, but we should be able to just block and reanimate. We have multiple colors of creatures, so Giver of Runes doesn't get us. A way to equip the hammer that's scary. Like Pure Steel Paladin would be scary. Or our opponent drawing a Shadow Sphere would be scary. Yeah, I think our opponent was too greedy with that Ginger Brute. This Ginger Brute with the Nettle Cyst would have been an issue. Swarm Yard's actually kind of oddly powerful here. Opponent, combat, passes. Ooh, we're untapping with our Grist. That's sweet. All right, Vial staying on 3. Well, let's get some value off the top of our deck. No, not ticking up. Urza Saga on top. Do we start killing stuff with Grist is the question. Like, should we kill the Giver of Runes? Or do we just keep ticking up? Yeah, let's just tick up. Make an Insect mill. Urza Saga's not very great with our Pithing Needle anyway. Into an Ether Vial, which is also not super great. Yeah, sack Peatland, draw a card. Play Swarm Yard. Yeah, I guess we just pass for now. Pass the turn. We could play the Realm Walker off the top, but I think leaving up the Swarm Yard's too important here. Opponent untaps. Where things go wrong now is if our opponent can find exile removal for Brain Maggot to get back Cauldron complete. All right, Urza Saga, that's fine. Pithing Needle's got that covered for the time being. I assume that was our opponent's draw for the turn. Passes. So Vial stays on 3. We draw a Realm Walker. Yavimaya on top. We have not got very many hits, double hits with this Grist. Now let's sack an Insect. Go after the Giver of Runes. See if we can get that off the table. All right, opponent has a Blacksmith skill, so opponent gets to keep their Giver for now. 1, 2. Play an Ether Vial, pay the 1. So this ended up being a very weird, interesting game. All right, your go, opponent. Pass the turn. Do they find the answers they need? Opponent untaps. What do they draw? Please not removal for Cauldron complete. Also worth noting that time might become a factor in this game. Opponent Ink Moth Nexus. Well, I guess Harpooner covers that, doesn't it? Okay, we got a plan, So let's Vial into play Realm Walker. I think we keep this one on Insect. So 2 on Insect, untap. Keep a Vial on 3, take one up to 1. Draw the Yavimaya. Urza Saga on top. Take up Grist. Mill the Saga. Play Haywire Mite. Play Yavimaya. Oh, are we just running out the Harpooner? The question is there a way we die this turn? Oh, we know they have a hammer in hand, so there are ways we die this turn. The way we die is our opponent top decking Sigarda's Aid. Like, Harpooner gets so much better next turn, though. I think we gotta risk it. Play Hex Parasite. Oh, okay. Well, this changes things. This is the best of both worlds. Now we can play Harpooner. Wow, a lot of insects off the top. Too bad we weren't milling those all with Grist. All right, we play the Harpooner. So this gives us a reach blocker. Okay, that's huge. That's huge. And now we still have a Harpooner in hand. So we don't die this turn to our opponent top decking Sigarda's Aid, and we can still do the Vial Harpooner trick next turn. All right, opponent gets to tutor up something, which I assume is going to be Shadow Sphere, which is like kind of an issue. Although we got a pretty big board now. If only we could get rid of this. If we could get rid of this Pithing Needle to turn on our Haywire Mite. Oh, why not Shadow Sphere? That is such a weird choice. Oh, I guess Giver still lets Ink Moth get around the Harpooner, doesn't it? All right, well, we'll see. Opponent fires up Ink Moth. Did they top deck Sigarda's Aid? All right, Nettlecyst moves over, but that's not lethal. And they have to tap their Giver. All right, we will chump. Okay, this kind of works. Oh, and we get to Brain Maggot? Oh, this is huge. This is huge. I think we might win this. All right, so Vial on 3. Oh, we could have, oh my goodness. Oh no, in fact, it wouldn't have mattered. I was gonna say we could reanimate, but there was a reason we didn't. The -1/-1 counters means reanimation doesn't do anything. We can Brain Maggot to make sure there's no protection for the Giver. Kill the Giver with Grist. And then I think we can actually just start attacking. Opponent cashing in their net. Opponent, I don't think anyone knows how to play against insects, which makes sense because who plays insects? Why would you need to know how to play against insects? Our weird cards are paying off. Okay, 1, 2, Brain Maggot, take a peek. We're not going to use the Vial. We want to be able to Vial this Harpooner in at instant speed. Opponent, what do you got? Stoneforge and Hammer. So we'll take the Stoneforge. Grist, take down. Second Insect. Blow up the Giver of Runes. Go to combat. And opponent scoops it up. Yes. Oh my, look at this board. Look at this board. Swarm Yards, Brain Maggots. We took down one of the best decks in the modern format with Insect Tribal. Oh, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. All right, sweet. Much brew about nothing time. We are doing some more insecting, not infecting, insecting in modern. Ooh, I mean, we got Grist, so life is relatively good. Also, Haywire Mite can be good in some matchups. It probably is the best insect now. Spire Bluff, oh no, this might not be the matchup. Ragavan, okay, well, being on the draw is not ideal, but we can attempt to block this Ragavan with a Haywire Mite. Would feel better for on the play. Then we could definitely block the Ragavan, or more, be even more likely to block it. Opponent combat, draw step. Unholy Heat, oops, kills the Mite. We gain some life, but opponent gets to snowball with Ragavan. Stupid monkey. Yep. Steals a Blex. Knows what we're up to. These harpooners might be good. Steam vents. Third path iconoclast. All right, so maybe less good. Well, okay. Haywire Mite. Go. Oh, opponent's gonna go so wide. How do we stop this? Oh, I was really hoping they were playing Ledger Shredders, but it seems like they're playing not Ledger Shredders. They're playing third path iconoclast. Bustarino, expressive iteration. Make some things, draws some cards. Yeah, this might be tough. We need like the miracle grist. We need to like draw land, take up grist, hit 5 insects in a row or something. Miniature's Bobble, also pretty busted. Plays a land, plays a Bobble, makes a dork. Springleaf Drum makes a dork. Well, I mean, this is a pretty impressive turn 3 for our opponent. I will give them that. Opponent cracks a Bobble, takes a peek. Ugh, yeah, I really wish this was a Dragon Rage Channeler or something that we could harpoon. How do we beat 1,000,000 1/1s? I mean, I guess we tried to make 1,000,000 1/1s, but opponent can't get past a Haywire Mite, passes. We draw. I guess hopefully a land? Springleaf Drum. That's kind of the worst. Okay, Springleaf Drum go. Okay, not feeling super great about this start. Opponent untaps. Oh, so opponent's infinite comboing, I see. So this is like Underworld Breach infinite combo that can also just do this. Third path iconoclast, actually a combo piece. Okay, well, so if they have Underworld Breach, they win. I mean, I guess that's not true because we have Haywire Mite. But if we have to use our Haywire Mite to exile a grinding station or something, we probably still lose. Opponent. Another expressive iteration. All right, lots of those chilling in the top of the deck. Yeah, it's a pretty powerful card. The one good card from Strixhaven, and it was too good. Urza Saga. All right, life keeps getting better. Attacks with 1,000,000 soldiers. We're so incredibly dead here. So incredibly dead. Passes. We've played a Haywire Mite. Our opponent's played like 10 cards. Hex Parasite. All right, so I mean, we are about to scoop. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hope for a miracle. You know it's gonna be a land on the top of our deck. Boom, Grist. Take it up. Hopefully there's like 10 insects in a row. All right, well, 2 insects in a row. I guess that keeps us sort of alive, but we can't exile the combo pieces, so not that alive. Takes a Urza Saga. Do you have the combo? So the combo is Underworld Breach, lets you cast spells. The spells make artifacts that you can sack to mill more cards. All right, so you can see our opponent do it a couple of times, but essentially how this works is because third path iconoclast makes artifact tokens, our opponent can cast anything that triggers. So I guess what they need eventually is a free spell like this Mishra's Bobble, but they cast the Bobble. The Bobble will trigger third path iconoclast. That'll make an artifact token. That'll untap the grinding station. So they can sack the artifact token to mill 3 cards, which is enough to pay for the escape on Underworld Breach. So they get to mill their entire deck, and then eventually they'll hit Thassa's Oracle and play the Thassa's Oracle and win the game. So that's the combo. Yes, we could have done nothing and tried to exile a combo piece. The problem is we're so far behind here that we don't really have the luxury of doing that because then we just lose to what's on the battlefield. So, all right. Well, that was quick. I am really not understanding what these Curse Totems are for. 3 Curse Totems in our sideboard, but what do those even do? When are those useful Magic the Gathering cards? How do we stop this? We need to be able to kill things, I guess. Are we going down the chalices? Like, the chalices could slow our opponent down, maybe, but they also slow us down? Graveyard Hate seems necessary. Haywire Mite's good. Hex Parasite works with our Urza Saga. Maybe we're just going down the chalices again? I really don't. I don't fully understand the idea of these chalices in this deck. My guess is the idea is we can like use them with Hex Parasite to manipulate the counters. But really, in practice, if you just look at our deck, we really don't want to just play a chalice on one. I guess the other way it could work is like Ether Vial on turn 1 into chalice on 1, and then we play our 1-drops that way, and we just plan on not casting the 1-drops or getting them off of Urza Saga. Well, we'll see. This seems like a challenging matchup for the insects. We don't have that much disruption. Cursed Totem. Why? What? I gotta look at the meta. What are we trying to hate on with Curse Totem? So it only hates on activated abilities, so it doesn't stop triggered abilities. Seasoned Pyromancers. And you know what? Let's just look at the most popular creatures in Modern. What does this actually shut down? So it doesn't stop like Furies and Endurances or Subtleties. Doesn't stop because those are ETB abilities. Dragon Rage Channelers are triggered abilities. Same with Ledger Shredder. Esper Sentinel's triggered. So it would stop Stoneforge from putting an equipment into play. Giver of Runes from saving something. Voidwalker from sacking itself. I mean, I guess the dream is you shut down mana dorks, but Modern is just like not a very mana dork heavy format. Yeah, I don't know about these Cursed Totems. Is it like a popular Modern sideboard card? Did I missed it? Cursed Totem. Oh, no one plays it in Modern. Okay. A single deck list. One person played it in Hammer Time one time. Okay, yeah. Well, I think now that we've experienced the Cursed Toteming, should probably definitely be cut from the sideboard as soon as humanly possible. Well, Cavern on Insect. Ether Vial. Gonna need another land at some point, but if we get Vial to 3, like if this Vial dies, we pretty much die with it. But if we can get Vial up to 3, we can Grist for days. And Grist is pretty good. And a Haywire Mite is also good once we get the mana for it. About it, Steam Vents, Untapped, and Ragavan. Well, we are going to have to kill that. Pick up the Vial. Oh no, the 4th Grist. Well, okay. Dismember Ragavan. Pass the turn. Okay, I mean, Grist is the best card in our deck, but this might be slightly excessive. Oh dear, opponent plays an island. Wow, this is exactly the same draw we saw last game. Third Path Iconoclast. We'll put the Mite into play. Untaps, we take up our Vial. Go to combat, hit ya. And I think this is another main phase Brain Maggot play. Brain Maggot, double expressive iteration. Well, that's a handful of magic cards now, isn't it? Well, I guess we take one of them. Pass the turn. Is it? Yeah, I kind of hate expressive iteration. Gonna draw 2 Magic the Gathering cards. Trigger their Third Path Iconoclast. This Third Path Iconoclast, the synergies are pretty interesting. Making artifact tokens really changes a lot of things compared to Young Pyromancer. Like you can see here, like reducing the cost on Emery. Young Pyromancer doesn't work with the Infinite Grinding Station combo. So in decks like this, it is way better. Opponent, Mishra's Bauble makes a token. And passes, not cracking the Bauble yet. End step cracks the Bauble. Gets to draw an extra card. Well, all right, opponent draws. We take up our Vial. Urza's Saga, not the best land at the moment. Well, we will put a Grist into play. Oh, we have so many Grists. Should we just sack this to kill the Iconoclast? Is that the stage of the game that we're at? And then they attack and kill the Grist, but, well, play the Urza Saga. Still no green mana. So they have 2 Emerys, they have a Ragavan. They have something they drew off Expressive Iteration that was not a land. They're gonna make 1,000,000 soldiers. Urza Saga is so good, but this is the worst scenario for it when we're kind of mana screwed. All right, pass the turn. No attacks. It's a lot of insects. Way more, double the amount of Grist compared to lands. I don't know if that's a way to actually win a game of Magic. Found it. Emery gonna mill some cards. Gonna set up some value loops. Mills an Underworld Breach. Top decks a land. That's unfortunate. Well, we know their hand has more Emerys. Another Ragavan. I guess those are the 2 cards we know. Opponent goes to combat. Gonna kill the Grist. No. Top deck's another Third Path Iconoclast. This is the worst. We draw a land finally. Well, Ether Vial. Put a Grist into play. Is there anything we can do here? We really have multiple things we gotta kill. Play the Peatland. Make a construct, sack the construct, kill the Third Path. I mean, we're trying our mightiest, but it just feels like we're so far behind. So opponent gets to start looping Mishra's Bauble. So they're drawing 2 cards a turn now. We're gonna lose our 3rd land. Mox Amber from hand, dashes a Ragavan, and Mishra's Bauble. And cracks the Bauble, takes a peek. top decks a Grape Shot to wrath our board. What a nightmare. Okay, yeah. Well, Grape Shot's another finisher with the infinite combo. Our board's gone. Opponent gets back another expressive iteration. Oh, well, we fought the good fight, but this one has not even felt a little bit close. Opponent, Ragavan, steals a Swarm Yard. Picks up the Ragavan. We untap. Opponent draws another card. Vial staying on 3. We draw. Another Cavern of Souls. It's a land, not a good one, but it is a land. Well, we make a construct. We tutor up a Relic of Progenitus. We play the Cavern on Insect. We violin a Grist. This time we tick up the Grist. Hopefully double hit. Ooh, triple hit. Okay, that's actually pretty good. And then Relic of Progenitus nuke the graveyards, draw a card. So I guess we should have done that in the other order, technically, to keep our graveyard fuller, but okay, that was a good turn. That was actually a pretty good turn. 3 insects lets us keep up with our opponent stuff. We got the bobble out of the graveyard. Opponent. We got blockers. Yes, of course. Our opponent has expressive iteration, which we knew about, trying to find their synergies again. Yeah, we should have exiled the graveyard and then hit Grist, I think. Grist Ultimate is like technically a way we could win a game. At least this time we got 6 loyalty. Okay, we're putting up a fight. We're putting up a fight. The insects are swarming. I mean, this deck does oddly feel like playing with insects. It's so, all right, opponent's just gonna mill a bunch of cards. Hits another Mishra's Bauble and a grinding station. All right, so opponent has their synergies going, although they did kind of waste an Emery. They may have been trying to turn on Unholy Heat to kill the Grist. Another third path Iconoclast. And Mishra's Bauble off the Emery makes a dork. Yeah, the opponent recovered pretty well from us wiping their graveyard, that's for sure. Opponent draws an extra card. Opponent's just drawn like 15 extra cards compared to us. It makes it hard for the insects to keep up. And a Ragavan passes. They draw an extra card. Vial's gonna stay on 3. Ooh, Dismember. Okay, that's actually kind of good, although we're a little low on life. Dismember Iconoclast. Ouch, ouch. Grist. Sack an insect. Kill the Emery. I mean, 6 isn't a lot of life, but we have dealt with a lot of our opponent's best threats past the turn. So we can violin this Endurance. Okay, I mean, we're kind of sort of in this game. Third expressive iteration. Well, I take that back. We were sort of in that game, but our opponent just draws all the expressive iterations. I mean, I guess that's part of the power of expressive iteration. One begets another. Opponent, Underworld Breach. Well, I guess this is the Endurance time then. So Endurance, make you shuffle your graveyard in, fizzle the breach. Staying alive, staying alive. We need to start getting in damage though. Yeah, third path Iconoclast is so huge for this deck because our opponent has a wall of blockers now too. Alpine Moon. I mean, I guess we sack this Peatland? Actually, are they even gonna name Peatland? Does that matter? They can name Peatland. Maybe they name like Urza Saga. Yeah, name's Urza Saga. Passes. Breach goes away. We draw something good. All right, Vial stays on 3. Oh boy, Cavern number 3. Well, let's crack this Peatland, draw a card. Play the Blooming Marsh. Do some attacking. Opponent can block with the Soldier. They're gonna do a bunch of blocking. Okay. So blocks with everything. I guess we kill the Ragavan. So kill a Ragavan, kill some soldiers. Take up Grist. Hopefully double hit. No. Well, we milled an Urza Saga that we didn't really want. All right, pass the turn. Opponent still gets to use their Urza Saga. This only hits your opponent's lands. So constructs can still be made. Another Ragavan. Although with this amount of insects, the Ragavan... Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. Here comes the constructs. Opponent grabs Jingatha. Passes. We draw. Something good. We need something good. Blex. Blex is not the worst. Take up Grist. Okay, double hit. Do we attack? How do we win from here? So if we attack with the insects and put Blex into play, we lose an insect. Yeah, let's... we're also at 6. We gotta be aggro. I mean, our opponent's gonna assemble their combo eventually. So opponent gets to make a 3/3. that will grow. Unfortunately, I've not run any swarm yards. Opponent blocks. Well, all right, put Blex into play. Hit you down to 10. Cavern on insect. Pass the turn. 1, 2. 2 creatures in the graveyard. Opponent double Urza Saga trigger. Gonna make a huge construct and probably make a huge construct. Tutors up. Oh no! Oh no! Okay, Shadow Sphere. That is an issue. Shadow Sphere on the huge construct. Opponent. Oh, that's so much life gain. Goes to combat. So we need to put literally our entire board in front of this. Oh, they're going after Grist. But gaining 7 is... Oh, that undoes so much of our work. So much of our work. We're supposed to be the Urza Saga deck. Well, we disrupted our opponent's combo, but... Urza Saga. Good card. Good card. Cruel Harpooner doesn't do much. Well, let's go for the Miracle Grix. Grix. Ticket up. Number 4. No double hit. Yeah, and now we can't win from here, unfortunately. We don't have anything that gets us out from under this. Cruel Harpooner is a 3-2. Actually, a little bigger than that. 7-3 at the moment. Pass the turn. These double Urza Sagas just... those constructs. Can't do anything about it. Really, we could have done stuff about it if it wasn't for the trample. So opponent makes another huge construct. Yeah, this is game. Well, that was not the best insight. And a pithing needle. Yeah, there's a little bit too much Modern Horizons stew going on in that matchup from the insects. So next time. Oh my goodness, opponent scooped it up. Much brew about nothing time. Insect tribal. Opponent doesn't want to play. Run it back. Oh, we will take a freebie. We're playing insects. One thing I've learned playing against odds decks is you don't look a gift horse in the mouth. If someone wants to scoop, you say thank you. So thank you, opponent. I think the problem with this deck, I mean, the deck spend hasn't been that bad, but these cursed totems, my God, why? I wish I knew what the person who built this deck was thinking. I didn't really think through the sideboard when I decided to play it. I just said, okay, there's got to be a matchup where cursed totem does stuff, but I have not found one. And it hurts our Haywire Mites. The weirdest sideboard choice. All right. We're back. Game 2 already somehow. Opponent's on the play. I guess our opponent just really wanted to be on the play. Maybe they're play point Santa Claus and they're just handing out free play points. Ooh. We're going to keep this. We got no Grist. Opponent's mulliganing to... What is our opponent doing for? I am so confused. Last time they scooped with 7, they didn't even mulligan. Are we getting Trond? No. Temple Garden. Okay. Literally have no idea what's going on. Blooming Marsh and... Ether Vial. Ether Vial probably does let us put Chalice on 1 if we want to. Urza Saga. Collector Oof. All right, that's actually pretty good against our deck, isn't it? How did our opponent know what we were playing? I'll take up the Vial. Play a Swarm Yard. Oh, yeah, this Oof is an issue. Play Haywire Mite. Play Hex Parasite. Pass the turn. Can we beat an Urza Saga, though? Taking up the Saga. How did they know to bring in I'm so incredibly confused. Yeah, Windswept Teeth. No attacks. So what we need is Grist. I am befuddled. I am vexed. I have no idea what our opponent's doing. Opponent passes. Grist, maybe? Well, take up the Vial. Hex Parasite. Well, we will play the Nurturing Peatland. Let's play Cruel Harpooner. Leave up the Swarm Yard, pass the turn. I'm not 100% sure that we don't want to try to draw cards with Blex, as weird as that sounds. All right, pass the turn. We really need to get rid of this Collector Roof. Then we can play Magic. Opponent cracks. Land untapped. Makes a construct. Yep. Opponent untaps. Well, let's see what they tutor up with this Saga. I assume they make a construct here. When you don't have many cards in hand, you might as well get all the value that you can out of your Urza Saga. Wow, no? Okay. Pithing Needle on Swarm Yard? What is our opponent doing? Okay, Pithing Needle on Swarm Yard. Renegade Rallier to get back the Urza Saga. Okay, that's annoying. Oh my God. This is the 4-card dream. Opponent. Well, we do need to kill it, so block with Harpooner. This is bad. That's 2 Urza Sagas. We untap. We draw. Well, we take up the Vial. That doesn't do anything. We really need a Grix. Ether Vial. I think we're losing to this, which is very sad. Well, we will play a Blex. Pass the turn. I mean, unless we top deck Grist, we lose to double Urza Saga, triple Urza Saga on the 4-card hand after our opponent just scooped game 1 with 7 cards in hand. That's not encouraging for insects. I mean, if there's good news, they can't use both of these sagas. That's a teeny tiny bit of good news. Opponent, Elvish Reclaimer. Oh, so this is like some land graveyard stack? Passes. Can we draw a Grist? Vial staying on 3. Well, we draw our own Urza Saga. That's something. Urza Saga. Parasite. Play Ether Vial. And pass the turn. Well, here comes the construct. So opponent gets probably 2 constructs. Then they tutor up another Urza Saga, I assume. So is our opponent just a straight up Urza Saga deck? Is that the game plan? So opponent makes a construct. Urza Saga goes away. Shadow Sphere, but they can't use it because they also have a Collector's Oof and a Springleaf Drum that our opponent cannot use because of Collector's Oof. Goes on a big attack. Well, let's kill the Elvish Reclaimer. Take our beats. We don't really want the Reclaimer tutoring up even more Urza Sagas. That would be bad. We gain a couple life. Passes. Well, now we get to start making constructs, which is good. So Vial on 3, Vial up to 1. There's the Grist. That's actually a really nice draw for some point. I think we need constructs first, though. Let's play Chalice on 0. Pass the turn. I think our constructs at the moment are bigger than our opponents. What a weird, incredibly weird game. Why Collector Oof in this deck? Hushbringer. Okay. Opponent has mostly stacks themselves out of this game. Well, we will make a construct. Untap. I think our vials are just staying here for now. No and no. Harpooner. Make a construct. Tutor up a Haywire Mite. Go to combat. Attack. Is freeing this oof a problem? Probably not. Yeah, I think we attack. Opponent blocks. Wouldn't blocking with 2 constructs be better? Okay, I mean, we're not going to complain. We will kill them both. Pass the turn. I guess our opponent was afraid of a fatal push. I mean, once this Grist comes down, things become very good for us. About it. Gonna chip in for 1. Sure. Down to 11. So Vial on 3, Vial up to 2. Play the Forest. Should we just Grist and blow up the construct? Probably. Well, let's go to combat and attack. Let's see what our opponent does. We'll just attack first with a construct. Opponent does have 2 cards in hand, so we'll see. They could have something. Take 7. Well, 1, 2, 3. Grist. The best insect. I think we're winning this. I still am super confused as to how this whole match went, but we will take the win. We will take a win. And opponent scoops it up. I don't know if I have ever been more confused. This is one of the weirdest matches I've ever played. So we loaded the match. Our opponent insta-scoop game 1, but they didn't scoop the match. They apparently sideboarded in Collector's Oofs and Hushbringers, or maybe they're in their main deck, and then proceeded to essentially lock their own deck out of playing Magic with Collector Oof. I don't know. But we got him. We got him. The Blex came through and we got the win. I mean, once this Grist comes down, we can Grist, sack, kill the Collector Oof. We can Vial Harpooner into play to kill the Hushbringer. And then if we need to, we can sack a Haywire Mite to kill like the Shadow Sphere or the Pithing Needle. So this Grist just like, it snowballs in a very, very awkward way. So yeah, no idea what's going on, but we'll take it. Sweet. Much brew about nothing time. We are this hand. Are we gonna try this? We might regret it. We have a lot of our most powerful cards. Technically, is it again? Boo for is it. If this Ether Vial gets countered, life becomes sadder. Oh, Peatland's good. Well, Cavern on insect. The Flex Ether Vial. We really would like that to resolve. All right, pass the turn. Okay, we are actually going for the winning record with insects. We did benefit a smidge from our last opponent. I have no idea what they were doing, but we're 2-2. We're 2-2 with insects. If we somehow miraculously take down this win against Is It, which is a big ask, but if we do, insects are officially a real modern deck, I guess. I think a 3-2. That means we broke it, right? 3-2 in a modern league. All right, opponent's going to draw a card. We're going to take up the vial. 1-drop? Peatland. Well, I mean, I guess we just start doing Urza Saga stuff. Urza Saga, go. I mean, we're not under any pressure yet, which is nice. We would still love to draw something we could vial into play one of these years. Opponent cracks the blue. Oh, if this is a Blood Moon. Steam Vents, untapped. Oh, Blood Moon would be so brutal. Passing? Okay. We will accept passing. Take up the vial. Come on! 2-drop, I guess. All right, opponent's going to steal our ether vial. Well, okay. Not great. Oh, we even drew the 2-drop. Take up the Saga. Play the Peatland. Well, we're going to give up a construct to get down Grist, I think. Grist on an empty board does seem decent. Get down Grist. Take it up. Cavern Milled. Pass the turn. All right, opponent untaps. Takes up our ether vial. Jerk. Instant artifact. All right, so they don't technically have Unholy Heat turned on yet. They're a card short. All right, now they do. Expressive Iteration. Well, I mean, if they kill the Grist, at least we have a million Grists. Opponent finds a land, plays the land. Kills the Grist. Okay, that's kind of what we expected to happen. Opponent passes. We draw Blex. Oh, I think we're just going to let this go, unfortunately. Float the mana. Tutor out a Parasite. Grist number 2. Take it up. Do not double hit. Get in with the insect. Hit you for 1. Do we want to get the Saga going? We don't want to waste this one. Yeah, all right, play the Saga. Pass the turn. Well, not the best Saga. What? They're actually vialing something in? Oh, come on now. They're actually making use of our ether vial. Okay, that's awkward. I mean, we do have multiple blockers, so it shouldn't hit us, but still. Ledger Shredder. And Bobble to Connive. I mean, hopefully we can deal with this. The Harpooner might be able to take down the Ledger Shredder. Opponent cracks the Bobble, takes peek, goes attacking. Well, we will block the Ragavan. Kill the Ragavan. Opponent gets to draw. Blooming Marsh. Urza Saga triggers. Kill the Ledger Shredder. Play the Peatland, pass the turn. This is going to be interesting. No attacks. So we're hoping to do Hex Parasite Urza Saga shenanigans. That is the current game plan. All right, nothing vialed into play. This is going to cost a decent amount of life. Expressive Iteration to draw some cards. Expressive Iteration number 2 finds a Ragavan. Well, you can't vial it into play from exile. Oh, opponent didn't know. Yeah, wow, so many punts in this league. I'm pretty sure what happened there is our opponent stole our ether vial and then tried to ether vial a Ragavan into play from exile. But ether vial, if you read it, you can put a creature of mana value equal to the number of charge counters on ether vial from your hand onto the battlefield. So you cannot ether vial something from exile. So I think our opponent did that and then shame scooped. Wow, maybe this is how you win with insects. I think we figured it out. You just gotta have opponents make a whole bunch of really weird punts, and you got them. The deck's great. Is this the Chalice matchup? Do we want a Chalice against Is It Murktide? The best deck in the format. They do have a lot of 1s. We also have a lot of 1s. Blood Moon is a thing of nightmares. I do not know what we do if they stick a Blood Moon. Lose, I guess. We don't even have fetch lands to play around it. Harpooner's actually good. Brain Maggot's fine. More removal seems good. What do we cut? We can go down the Springleaf Drum. The question is Chalice. Do we Chalice? It is worse on the draw than on the play. If you look at a typical Is It Murktide deck, 1/1, 1/1, 1/1. Like half their deck is like 1-drops, but a big chunk of our deck is 1-drops. So there is a risk if we don't have Ether Vial Chalice and we run out Chalice that we just end up locking many of our things out of play. I think we're going to go with no Chalice, at least on the draw. Well, you can reevaluate if we lose this game. Hopefully, we just somehow sneak in, crawl in with our insects and get another win and actually end with the winning record. I mean, okay, we got Grists. Grist is probably our best card. We do not have a way to avoid getting snowballed by a Ragavan, which is scary, but what can you do? Our deck doesn't have that many answers to a Ragavan. There's the stupid monkey. Dismember off the top, please. All right, Blooming Marsh. Well, Ether Vial, I guess. All right, so this is concerning. The game begins with us getting hit by a Ragavan, land, Combat. Attacks, hits us. Gets a treasure with the stupidest of monkeys. Steals a land that, Cavern would have been okay. Ledger Shredder. And oh my god, triggers to go. Oh my goodness, the start. I mean, this is the brokenness of Ragavan. You lose the die roll, you can't kill it, and you lose the game. That's the way of the world. Swarmyard. Well, Forest and Brain Maggot. Got subtlety and double removal. Jeez. Yeah, I don't know how we ever beat this hand, but we will take the lightning bolt for now. Yeah, this is ridiculous. This is a ridiculous start. Opponent kills the Brain Maggot, gets back the lightning bolt, surveils. This Grist doesn't even do anything here. And they top deck to consider, so they can surveil and connive. I mean, we're dead. This one did not go well. I mean, this is just the MH2 snowball. Snowball and snowball and snowball. Opponent discards the lightning bolt. Draws a card or mills the lightning bolt. Plays a Scalding Tarn. Gets in for infinite. Gets a treasure. Oh, even more. Okay. Scalding Tarn, cracked, untap, and treasure. Steals a Realm Walker. I mean, I think we actually just scoop here. Okay, take up that Ether Vial. Hex Parasite. Yeah, all right. That was a lot of Modern Horizons 2 cards and a Ledger Shredder, but imagine if Cursed Totem was a real card. So back to the Chalice of the Void conversation. Is it worth it? Is it just a necessary evil? What do we do? So maybe we shouldn't have kept that hand. Maybe the TLDR is we just have to mulligan until we have something to stop Ragavan. Although they had 2 removal spells, so even if we did mulligan into a 1-drop, it's still not gonna work. Oh, Chalice is so risky, but maybe it's the kind of risky we gotta embrace, and you go down 1 Realm Walker. Oh, but if we call the insects, go down 1 Blex. Maybe we go 3 Chalice. Chalice is so weird in this deck. So weird. Something like that. Oh, Realm Walker is sweet. It dies to everything though. Not if we have a Chalice on 1, though. But then we can't cast things if we have Chalice on 1. I mean, I guess we can Chalice Cavern. Maybe that's the main hope, is we have a Cavern so we can cast our 1-drops through it. That makes some amount of sense. What do we cut, though? How do we find room for it? We got to embrace the Chalice play. We have to. For better or worse, I think we have to embrace it. All right, Chalice. Can you save us? Can you save the insects against the monster of the format? That's a lot of Urza Sagas. I do like that. And we got our Chalice. Whether or not we should play the Chalice, that is another conversation, but we do have it. Well, Nurturing Peatland, and boom, Insect Part 1 Haywire Mite go. What do you got? Spire Bluff Canal and passes. Hit you with the Mite. Urza's Saga. I mean, I think we gotta go for it. Chalice on 1. They could have Spell Pierce, but will they even keep that in against our deck? Okay, so Chalice is gonna resolve. We do lose our Mite, but this does shut down a lot of our opponent's threats. Opponent Island. Blood Moon is still scary. There's a Ledger Shredder. And a Bobble to Connive. Discards a counter spell. Okay. Well, that was a pretty good turn for our opponent. I mean, if this ends with a Blood Moon, we're so sad. Opponent passes, draws a card. We draw another Urza's Saga. Okay, so Saga ticks up. Cavern on Insect. Oh, do we just have to kill the Shredder? I want to make constructs, but if they connive and get it to 5 power, we're gonna pass. We're gonna pass. Pass and pray. Pass and pray. Come on, Magic Gods. Hold. Oh, they have Blood Moon. This is game ending. Well, this is literally exactly what we were afraid of. Exactly. Well, that is unfortunate. I mean, I guess it's fair that we lose to the Blood Moon, but wow, that's a brutal blow. A brutal blow. Swarmyard. Haywire Mite gets countered because we can't use our Chalice. Hit you for 2, and yeah, the Blood Moon's just game. The Blood Moon is just game. This deck is not built to withstand a Blood Moon. Expressive Iteration. Oh no, an opponent finds an Engineered Explosives, which lets them connive and can get rid of the Chalice, and we are hard locked out of playing Magic. Gets in, hits us. Well, we can't cast that. We actually cannot do anything. Yeah, well, we knew that was a risk. We knew there was a risk that this could happen. So we could have chaliced out a Haywire Mite and tried to kill the Blood Moon after it hit the battlefield, but I don't think that's enough. Like, we still lose the Urza Saga. We're still behind this huge Ledger Shredder. Like, that would be the, like, ultra conservative line. But I think, considering we're playing insects, I don't think we have the luxury of, wow, that's depressing. So what the actual punt is we could have actually held on to the Haywire Mite, and if our opponent blew up stuff like they did, there's a chance a Haywire Mite could have got rid of the Blood Moon. All right, opponent has 8 Dress Down to draw a card and to fizzle our Harpooner. Yeah, so I mean, casting anything into a Chalice is a bit of a pun. So that was definitely a mistake. At the time, it didn't seem like a mistake that mattered. It seemed like the game was over, but we did draw one of our 2 forests. So it could have ended up mattering in the end. Although, with how this is, yeah, okay. It would not have mattered in the end or in any other world. The Blood Moon did it. It sucks. I guess that's fair. I guess it's fair that we lose to a Blood Moon, although that was just the worst setup. So what do we learn about this deck? What do we learn about where's insects? What do we learn about insects? So we finished 2-3. Honestly, considering what this deck looks like, I think that is a incredibly good finish for the deck. Would have been nice to sneak out one more win and finish with a winning record, but look at this deck list. This is modern. This is one of the fastest, most powerful, most modern Horizons 2 influence formats in all of Magic. It's a busted format full of really powerful stuff, and we're playing 1 mana 1/1, 1 mana 1/1, 2 mana 1/1. Cruel Harpooner, 2 mana 3/2. That's our above the curve creature. Blex as the Lord and a Realm Walker. So what do we learn about this deck? Like I said, I'm happy with a 2/3. Would have been nice to get a 3/2. Is this deck actually good? I'm gonna lean towards no. Although we did get to see it do some good things. We played some really interesting good games. We got to see Blex win. We got to see our insects. Haywire Mite is actually like a legit good card. We got to see those synergies. So I would say the weird part about this deck is it kind of feels like we kind of have 2 cards that really matter, which are more or less Urza Saga and Grist. I know Grist is technically an insect. The cards that really matter are Grist and Urza Saga. The games that we won usually involved Grix doing Grix things and or Urza Saga allowing us to make constructs and tutor through our deck. The rest of the cards, we're playing a lot of medium cards to support our good card, more or less. Most of the insects are not very powerful. Haywire Mite, I think, is an exception, but very few of the rest of the creatures in this deck, outside of supporting our payoffs, are actually all that playable by modern standards. Hex Parasite does synergize well with Urza Saga, although we never really got to see that work out in our league, but it will eventually. There will be a situation where this keeps removing the counters and we, tutor a bunch of times and go off. That's one way to win. The other way to win is this is a really good Grix deck, and we got to see the ability to double, triple hit with Grix's +1 actually be surprisingly relevant. Whether or not that's worth filling our decks with Brain Maggots and Cruel Harpooners, that's another question. Does Grix need that support to make it good? Maybe not. The other upside, I guess, is we saw in some matchups Swarmyard be really effective, where against a Hammer Time deck in specific, Swarmyard just letting us regenerate and survive big constructs from our opponent were pretty good. So I like the idea of the deck, and I think the deck is, as far as Insect Tribal goes, it worked way better than I would have imagined. Things I do not like about the deck. Not sold on Chalice in the main deck. I think I see what the deck's trying to do, like stick at Ether Vial and then Chalice, or hope you have Cavern and then Chalice. Still though, it seems so risky that you're just gonna lock yourself out of doing important things. So I'm not sure that I'm sold on that, especially since Chalice, it's really good in certain matchups, but you don't know that in game 1 if it's a matchup where it's really good or a matchup where it's not doing much. So I'm not sure I would play Chalice in the main deck of this deck. The main thing though, oh my goodness, the sideboard is pretty janky. Curse Totem If you're watching this and you know why you would play this in your sideboard in Modern, please let me know, because I cannot figure it out. We looked through the list of popular creatures in Modern. Yeah, there's a couple it hits, a Stoneforge, you give her a rune, but out of like the 50 most played creatures, it hits on like 2 of them. So I'm trying to figure out what matchup is this for? What creature is this supposed to be hating on? So to me, the Curse Totems felt like wasted sideboard slots. Orvar, I mean, you run to Liliana once in a while. I think that is cute and cool, although there's no synergies with it on the battlefield. They just purely discard hate, and targeted discard doesn't really work. Your opponent's never going to Thought Seize your Orvar. That's just a horrible idea. So I'm not sure about the Orvar plan, so I would probably maybe take those cards out of the sideboard and try to replace them with maybe some more removal could be good. We ran into infinite Urza Sagas, and we were able to get through them sometimes with our own Urza Sagas or by regenerating with Swarmyard, but answers to that could be good outside of Haywire Mite. Like, more answers to that could be good. Just some like straight up kill your stuff removal could be helpful. Like, we have Dismembers, but those end up being painful. Maybe some Fatal Pushes, maybe some Thought Seizes. So I think that is where I would go with this deck. As far as insects, I'm actually curious if there are any good insects that are not in this deck that we could be playing. I haven't actually looked at this, so let's take just a quick little peek together and see if there's anything that we could be playing that might improve this deck. I mean, Zabaz isn't horrible. Mortician Beetle does have a little bit of synergy with sacking creatures to Gix, so that could be a possibility. Swarm Shambler, Scoot Mob. We're never gonna get enough lands for Scoot Mob, I don't think. Plague Stinger, go Insect Infect Tribal. I do think that the maximization of Grist was nice. Ooh, Skylasher could actually be of note. Like, Skylasher is an insect that has been playable at various times. It's mostly good against mono blue decks, and I don't know if we really have any of those in Modern. I mean, 2-mana 2/2 with some protection and reach, that could be in the conversation. Hornet's Nest, maybe. Some of the insects like Scoot Swarm and friends, we just need more lands than we're ever possibly going to get on the battlefield. I think in Modern with this deck, especially with Urza Saga sacrificing itself. So, I mean, I guess there's not a ton. There's nothing that jumps out as like, wow, that's a great insect that should be in our deck, and it's just not in our deck. The other possibility would be to go more towards Changelings. We saw the Orvar in our sideboard. Maybe some of the Changelings could be worth it. Like, I don't know how we make it work, but Mass Vandal isn't that bad. That could be, we were talking about more artifact hate in our sideboard or more Urza Saga hate. Maybe that could be an option for Urza Saga hate. Nameless Inversion does work with Grix, so something to keep in mind. So I think overall, I think the Insect Tribal, it's definitely against the odds. Although, when it works really well. It's just so inconsistent. The good games, when we saw Grist go off and we saw Blex blowouts off of Aether Vial, are spectacular. But then in between those good games, there's some pretty rough games where you can tell that we're playing a lot of 1-mana 1/1s, and like, you got 4 lands, a couple of Haywire Mites and an Aether Vial, and you're like, am I playing Modern? Like, what does this hand even do in a format like Modern? And your opponent's like, Ragavan, Murktide Regent, and you're just like, okay, yeah, like, go, Hex Parasite, we got you, Violet into play. So I think the consistency is an issue, but the power of Grix and the synergy of Hex Parasite and Urza Saga, and Blex, I guess, to a lesser extent, Realm Walker, there's enough here that I would keep an eye on this deck. We're like one really pushed insect away from maybe this being a pretty legit deck. 2 really push insects and all bets are off. Like, we'd be best deck of Modern with Insect Tribal at that point. Well, that might be an exaggeration, but all that to say, the deck doesn't feel that far away. So that's Insect Tribal. It was fun. We did some cool things. It was super sweet to like get the Blex win and get the triple hits with Grist and beat some really good decks with their JK plan. But the sideboard definitely needs work. And really, overall, we probably need like 2 more really powerful insects that we can play. More Haywire Mites, just like stronger insects to make the deck a real threat in Modern. So anyway, that is Insect Tribal. Seriously, that's been our Much Brew for this week. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.